A Galaxy Next Door Volumes 2 and 3 review. In Volume 1 of the rom-com manga, A Galaxy Next Door, we met manga artist Ichiro and his new assistant Shiori. The movie accidentally got engaged. Thankfully, despite the situation they ended up in, the two liked one another and by the end of the volume began dating, but how will the relationship go? Let's find out what Volumes 2 and 3. Going into Volume 2, the biggest concern our duo face is telling Ishiro's siblings about the relationship. So far, his siblings have been fond of Shiori since her help as an assistant has already prevented Ishiro from spending quite a few all-nighters working in the series. But when it comes to being a couple, Shiori worries that his siblings will see the relationship as taking away precious family time. Elsewhere, in this volume, Shiori faces setback when she tries to work as an assistant for the mangaka beside Ishiro, and vows to better her skills to find more work for herself, but this event also knocks her confidence and leads her to wonder what Ishiro sees in her, and if his feelings for her and truly love are influenced by their complicated living situation. While the first book was a mixture of slice of life and manga industry, Volume 2 is more firmly focused on the relationship between Shiori and Ishiro as well as developing some of the side characters. If you had to describe it in a single word, it'll be peaceful. There are emotional ups and downs, but on the whole, this makes it for cozy reading. In Volume 3, the drama is turned up a notch when Shiori's parents visit, having learned of the relationship with Ishiro and fearing she's being taken advantage of. Shiori's relationship with her parents is complicated and has been further strained by her mother's demands for her to return home. The only reason Shiori was allowed to leave the island she called home in the first place was thanks to her grandmother's dying wish for her to do as she pleased. So her parents had never been supportive of it, but it's not all bad news because with Shiori's parents visiting, she and Ishiro realizes may be a good opportunity to figure out how to endure the engagement pact. Although the thought that also brings problems of its own, including our duo wondering if their feelings would change if the pact is cancelled. Reading these two books back to back makes it clear that author Guido Amagakore is running this series with clear goals in mind. As much as it is a floppy romance series, there's also a plenty emotional weight to the various storylines and not just those revolving around the main couple, and it never feels like the drama comes out of nowhere. If you flip back through the previous chapters, you can see where it started and how it has developed up to the point of becoming an actual issues that the cast needs to deal with, such as the arrival of Shiori's parents, which have been foreshadowed since early Volume 2, and to come to a head in Volume 3. The only part of the plot that is going a bit under the radar is Ishiro and Shiori's work in the manga industry, but since it does get some occasional focus drawn to these two books, I'm hoping it will become a bigger theme soon, especially now the two characters have dealt with their relationship troubles, more or less, and should stay comfortably stable from now on. The fact it has come stuck around means Amagakore is unlikely to shelve it completely, but it's still going to be disappointing for some readers to find it has taken such a backseat in these releases compared to the initial volume. A Galaxy Next Door Volumes 2 and 3 comes to the West thanks to Kodansha, where they continue to be translated by Rose Padgett and lettering by Elise Blakesley. The translation reads well for both books with no problems to note, and there are a couple of pages and translation notes at the back of the book, which are always nice to have. Volume 4 of the series is out now, with Volume and number 5 set for English release in July. Overall, A Galaxy Next Door continues to be an interesting read in these two volumes. Some readers may be a little disappointed that the manga focused on sleep between the cracks, but there's still plenty to enjoy here provided you're a fan of the romance side of the series. This is a manga that I'm sure I will continue to like in the months to come. 8 out of 10.